Name says it all. I'm Hakeem Branch.
Rob Jarrell.
And today, we got some mailbag questions for you. We asked, you guys answered, and we appreciate it. So for the first one, we got our friend Ryan who wants to know about a typical boxing workout. He was actually a teammate of mine back in Virginia State on the boxing team, and he said he wants to incorporate some boxing and kickboxing back into his training, and he just wanted to know, like, you know, what was a sample workout that we would do as far as when you're doing boxing training. And we're going to keep this really simple. When you go to most gyms, especially starting out in like an amateur gym and you're not competing for a fight, you really only do about 4 to 5 exercises, and you just do them for multiple rounds apiece to add up to maybe about 2 to 3 hours of work.
That's right.
So the first thing you would do, especially if you would come to the gym that I volunteer at, the first thing you're going to do is jump rope for 5 rounds. 5 3-minute rounds, probably a 30-second break. If you are just getting back into it, maybe you do 2 or 3 rounds and just work your way into it. If you can get 5 rounds of jumping rope, that's actually a really good cardio workout, and it's going to build up your arms and back and your legs at the same time. So jumping rope is a great starter exercise. It's going to do a good total body workout for you. And from there, you move on to shadow boxing. Explain shadow boxing for him, Rob.
Basically, shadow boxing is you could be in front of a mirror, or you don't need a mirror. Just throwing punches and kind of simulating what you would do in a real boxing match. Whether it's you working on 1-2, different combinations, slipping, ducking, moving back, forth, around like you would on a ring. A mirror is more so you going back and forth. But if you are just happen to be in a ring or just in a space, you can work on turning, slipping and countering. But it's to simulate a actual boxing match, and it, you know, get yourself moving, work on that cardio, endurance. And to be honest, I mean, you could do 2 to 3 rounds. I know when I'm training, or when I was training, I do 5 or 6 rounds, and it can be tiring. That's with a 30-second to a minute rest, and it'll get you working. I mean, just your endurance. It's one thing is getting your endurance, and another thing is actually getting your technique down.
Right. The next thing you would do after that is hitting the heavy bag. If you have a heavy bag at your gym, make sure you have access to it, and on that you're going to do another 5 rounds. So if you're doing 5 rounds of rope, 5 rounds of shadow boxing, 5 rounds of the bag, that's 15 rounds. That's a good amount of work to do on a daily basis. You're thinking 3-minute rounds, 3-minute rounds, 5 rounds. That's 15 minutes right there. Add that up. That's a whole workout in itself right there. So when you're hitting the bag, it's basically shadow boxing with something to hit. You want to work on your combinations again. You want to work on your footwork. You want to work on correct punch placement, because if you punch wrong on that heavy bag, you will hurt your hands or your wrists. So you want to work on your technique. You want to work on your punch selection, throwing combinations, maybe switch it up, throw a few hard shots, throw some fast shots, work on your speed, work on your timing, because you're going to move that bag around, and you're going to have to move around to either get a better angle to fire at the bag, or as it's coming towards you, throw a punch to stop that bag from coming towards you. That's just like an opponent trying to charge in on you. You're going to want to stop that person from doing that. Hitting the heavy bag will help you with that.
And the good thing about a heavy bag, I mean, there's different variations in weights, but the impact that you receive, because sure, you're hitting it, but it's giving you force back. So it's going to help you build that muscle in your biceps and your back, and even in your legs, because that power that you generate is part of that kinetic chain. It's going to come up, and you put that power into the bag. Force comes right back at you, and I mean, it's just going to help your power as well as building a little bit of muscle and endurance.
Yep, all about that kinetic chain. So you can do that for many months at a time and be fine. That's what most pro boxers do on a daily basis. Then they'll spar 2 to 3 times a week. They'll work the mitts. But if you're by yourself, then you won't be able to do that. So if you have a local boxing gym to go to, you can go there. But if not, just do those 3 exercises and you'll be just fine.
Something else that I do that is actually available in my gym, where actually Hakeem works, is a speed bag. If you do have access to that, learn to do it, because not only does it work on hand speed, but it's hand-eye coordination and timing.
It also works those shoulder muscles.
That is right.
So yeah, that's it for as far as boxing workouts. Hopefully that helps you guys out. We're going to move on to the next question, which comes from our Facebook page from our friend Mark. And he wanted to know, how do the boxing commissions go about selecting the judges and the referees? I'm going to let Rob take this one over.
Okay, so I did a little bit of research going with the Nevada State Athletic Commission and New Jersey and a little bit of California, but they're basically the same. You pay a licensure fee. There's actually a lot of testing that you would go through in order to test your knowledge and what to look for. Also, they judge you on, if you're getting just starting out, you start out with amateur fights to see how you judge it, and you kind of build that reputation as you move into the pro ranks. Now, as a judge, they look at your reputation, and they actually look at some of your fights to see how you judged a particular fight, what you saw as opposed to what's being seen, say, on a television screen or from a video camera.
Or the other judges.
Or the other judges, and they compare those. Also, as you gain experience, you actually gain some notoriety, and they choose you for bigger fights. That's why when you look at fights, like big fights, they always introduce the judges and tell you what big fights they judge. That's because they try to get the most experienced judges. And with that way they don't, make the same mistakes, or they're actually experienced and skilled at what they do. Also, they go through physicals for just physical examinations, and especially eye examinations, because they don't want you to kind of get tired or lose focus during the fight, and they don't want you to have impaired eyesight. So if you, like I have LASIK, but if you wear glasses or if you wear contacts, they want to make sure that you still can have that 20/20 vision, or as close to 20/20 vision at the time of the fight. And another thing, and I want to bring referees into it because that's the same thing. That's why you see a lot of the big fights have Steve Smoger, Tony Weeks, Kenny Bayless, depending on where it is. Those are the big name referees, but they're very experienced in those fights. Not only that, but they do research on the fighters themselves to see how they respond to punches, what's their work rate, what to expect from the fighters, how much punch resistance they have. So if it's someone with a weak chin or who doesn't really have great punch resistance, they know when to stop the fight. Or say someone like Maidana, who gets knocked down or can get caught cold, they know that that's not necessarily the end of Marcos Maidana, because he can come back just as furious. So they always give him that extra chance. So, I mean, they look at the history, they look at examinations, they look at testing, because they have to go through yearly testing for those boxing commissions.
Yeah.
So that's pretty much how they choose the judges, as well as fighters and promoters can request that there be certain judges or certain neutral judges to judge fights, so there's no hometown decisions or preferential treatment.
Even though we still get that stuff, they do try their best to make sure it doesn't happen.
Good commissions do.
Yeah, good commissions. And then, you have the, I wouldn't say aberrations, but the abnormalities every now and then. Like we had the Pacquiao-Bradley fight where the judges' scorecards didn't reflect what the majority of the people saw. And in one of those instances, I don't think I've seen Dwayne Ford, who was one of the judges who scored it for Brad. I don't think I've seen him work a fight since.
Right.
CJ Ross, who was the other judge that scored that for Bradley, did the Mayweather Canelo fight. She ended up scoring that a draw, and then was forced to step down. So I guess justice was served. Kinda, not really. But it does happen.
There are repercussions to some of these fights, especially if it's a clear cut. It's clear cut as the Mayweather Canelo fight. we're not going to go into the Bradley Pacquiao, but we will have our preview coming soon. So
Right.
Don't worry about that.
And then they had the 3 judges from the Paul Williams Arizona Lara fight.
That's right.
All 3 of them got suspended after rendering their decision. So it happens. All right, guys, that's it for this video. Thanks for watching. If you have any questions, make sure you hit us up on our Facebook page, Capital of Combat. You can hit us up on our email, capitalofcombat@gmail.com. You can hit us up on Google Plus, Capital of Combat. Any one of those ways, we'll get back to you, shoot you a video response, and you can see it here. So make sure you like this video. If we answered your question, share it with your friends. Say, hey, you know, these guys, I asked them a question, they reached out to us, and they answered it for us.
That's right.
That way, you know, we get more people asking questions, so we can make more videos for you guys. Because we enjoy it, we are glad you guys enjoy it. So we'll see you in the next video. Peace.
This is round 1 and you've already lost. They don't seem to see that everything we've done is coming and gone. My fists are on fire, I perform till I perspire. My demons are in a rage, keep thinking that it's a game. I kick crime, hurricane, I told them I don't play, I'm liquid.
Black Street Fighter.